Good afternoon, all. On behalf of IoT Academy, we welcome you all for the fourth session of National Level Faculty Development Program on Teaching and Learning Process in HEIs. Let me introduce the resource person of today's session, Dr. Krunal Soni. Dr. Krunal Soni is an Assistant Professor of Finance and Accounting at SGJ International College, Surat. He has a total of 10 years of experience in academics. His qualifications include BBA Finance, MBA Finance, PhD in Management, and Diploma in Foreign Exchange and Risk Management. He has a total of 24 publications in various reputed journals like Scopus, ABDC, and UGC Care, including a patent in Government of India for his innovation on techno-innovation and growth of Indian share market. He is the recipient of Best Faculty of Management Award and Best Research Paper Award. He has served as a resource person for numerous FDPs, workshops, seminars, conferences, and has presented numerous research papers on entrepreneurship skills and ICT tools. With this, we hand over the session to Dr. Krunal Soni. So, please.
Thank you so much, madam. So, good afternoon to one and all present here. So, we are here to understand the ICT tools for the teachers in higher education, right? So, whenever we are talking about the ICT tools, right? So, we all know that we all had faced the COVID pandemics nowadays. And before that, we were not that much used to with the ICT tools for the teaching and learning process. But after the COVID-19, yes, we all are used to have the teaching learning process through the ICT. And we have seen the significant positive results through the ICT tools for the teaching learning process. And it has created more amount of adoption from the students as well as from the faculty point of view as well, right? So yes, madam has given a brief introduction about myself. So I'll not take much time on this. So we will begin with the presentation. The first part is the purpose of modern era of education, right? So whenever we are talking about education system, so we must ensure that whenever we are talking about education system and whenever we are talking about teaching learning process, we must ensure that whatever we are teaching, whatever field in which you are, right, we must ensure that the student should have the employability into the market after they complete their study in terms of their graduation, then post-graduation, right? Because if the student doesn't have the marketability, employability, they will not sustain into the market. So yes, in this today's changing era, we must ensure that whatever education system, whatever syllabus designing that we are doing it, whatever curriculums that we are designing, it should have the employability into the market. It should have some reliability, validity into the market as per the current scenario. We should not stick to the monotonous education system, but we need to shift from time and time again as and when the technological advancement will be taken place. So yes, it should have employability, increasing earning potentials, and advancing knowledge and wisdom, right? Wisdom creates the judgmental power from the student's point of view, right? So whenever students needs to take certain decisions for the future in terms of their business or job, so they should be in a position that they will decide their career goal, their path, and once they are on the toe or once they are on the market, they should have the power to take the judgment for their own life, right? So that is what we need to create the students ready material for the market, right? They should also have some research, right? So research is gaining much importance in nowadays. Even in academics also, being a faculties also, we have experienced so much importance of the research in the current API schemes, right? Current promotional schemes as per the UGC norms, right? So research has gained a significant importance. And yes, so research has been done through the use of ICT tools, right? So we will see the various ICT tools as far as research is concerned, academics is concerned, right? So we will see one by one all this aspect. The secondary objective is to have the spiritual and mental growth, right? Spiritual and mental growth, yes. So education should provide to the students spiritual and mental growth apart from the normal academics things that they are learning in the market, right? And we need to engage them in quest of unknown, right? So quest of unknown means we need to create the search quality, ability amongst them, right? They should ask the question for the things which is happening around us, right? So they should ask themselves why it is happening, right? Then they will come to know the various paths for finding the right answers. And that is what these self-actualizations that we need to develop into the students. Then facilitating better lifestyles and developing scientific outlook, right? We need to turn them into the scientific thinking, right? Modern thinking, scientific thinking, and that is what, if they are up to the market, they will have the better lifestyle. And we must motivate them to have a better lifestyle in terms of better learning, better education, and have a better earning potential through which they can afford the better lifestyle for them in the future. Yes. So that is why whenever we are talking about the dimensions of educations in higher education, so there are three dimensions that we are talking about. First is branding, second is, and third one is academic quality, right? So whenever we are talking about the branding, so yes, we need to promote our brand as a part of education institute, right? We all know that why people are going for IIMs, right? Why people are going for IIT, IISCs, right? Because they have created their brand. People are knowing with their brand name, right? So IIM, the brand name itself is important, because through the brand name, they're already aware about that what sort of education practices that has been performed under this particular education institute, right? So we need to create our self branding so that people will more and more attract towards our brand, and more they will attach to us, right? So branding should be in terms of positive aspect. So delivering on the promise of the brand, because positivity, why positivity is important? Because only branding will not work, because when it comes to the delivery aspect, and if we are failed to deliver, I'm sorry to say, but it is very difficult to sustain into the market, right? Because delivering part is very much important, because word of mouth publicity is very much important rather than have a paid publicity in the market, right? So it has a significant role, right? So an educational brand is often educated to an institutional academic reputation, right? So your brand will be considered as your reputation. And there are two major components. One is knowledge and information. So if we want to create our own brand, we should have the knowledge and information for the things that we are doing into the market, right? So, and when we are talking about knowledge and information, so knowledge and information has no boundaries into the market. As and when you require to take the knowledge and information from the market, it is openly available for you, and usually you can easily opt for it, right? So whenever we are talking about education openness, education is a sharing base, right? So knowledge is not a power, but application of knowledge is power. That is what we need to understand. And that's why in the market there are various open-ended courses which is available, right? After the COVID pandemic, there are lot many initiatives that has been taken by the various educational institutes to have the open free courses, right? And we are experiencing one of the most important tool for the online learning, that is MOOC courses, that is massive open online courses, right? Are you aware about any tools for the MOOCs? Anyone? Very much important tools that we are using into the market, that is Swayam portal. Everyone, yes or no? We are using Swayam, right? Swayam is providing all sort of courses. If you go into the Swayam, you have multiple courses as per the branches of education that you have: social sciences, physical sciences, right? Engineering courses, all sort of courses that you have in the Swayam courses, right? So you can have the get yourself registered, get the knowledge, give the timely examination, and once you will clear all the criteria, you will be awarded with the certificate of completion, right? So Swayam, yes, Swayam is one of the most important. And nowadays government is also consider MOOC courses to be one of the most important parameter for the academician as per the ICT tool learning, and it has a weightage in our API score as well, right? Academic performance index. So MOOC courses has the importance in the API as well, so we must ensure this. Then we will talk about global educational scenario, right? So National Knowledge Commission has observed that teachers are the single most important elements of the education system. And the country is already facing a severe shortage of qualified and motivated teachers at different levels. So this is the common scenario for the India as well as at the global level, right? So shortage of teacher, which is not a good sign, right? Because teachers are the nation builder, right? So we must ensure that the sufficient number of teachers should be available at the college and school level. The training of teacher is a major area of concern at present at both pre-service and in-service. So pre-service means whenever the teacher is joining the teaching job for the first time, the institution must provide the initial training program for the teachers to make them aware about their roles and responsibility being a teacher towards the students, right? And at the same time, after delivering a few days or few months of services, again we need to conduct the training program for the teachers to know their difficulty levels, to solve their queries, and to motivate them how to deliver the lectures more efficiently, more technological advance, right? So these are the trainings that education institute must provide to the teachers to have the efficient delivery of their lectures and to have the proper management of the education system. So pre-service training needs to be improved and differently regulated both in public and private institutions, right? It is not at the restricted to the public institutions, or it should be required at the private institute as well. And that's why we all know that the entire world is facing the tough time due to the impact of COVID-19, and it has hampered almost all the sectors in more than 200 plus countries, right? So during the COVID pandemic, we must aware about that people were not able to come out from their houses, right? Forget about the education system to go to the schools and colleges, right? So at that time, the ICT tool has played a significant role. So that is why in Indian scenario, if we talk about, so yes, India is also the one of the part of this as far as COVID-19 effect is concerned. And that's why the Indian Education Society and all the academic work is put on hold by the apex body of UGC, right? From 2020 to almost 2021, and students and teachers have not seen their school premises or college premises, right? They have not conducted any training, any educations through the physical mode, right? At that point of time, just think about if the ICT tools will not come out, what will be the scenario of the education in India and as well as to the entire globe, right? At that point of time, ICT has played a significant role, right? So a UN report says a school closure have impacted around 247 million children enrolled in elementary and secondary education in India. 247 million children was affected by the COVID-19 in India. The pandemic has also impacted about 28 million children who are attending preschool education in Anganwadi centers, right? So Anganwadi centers is running by the government for the poor childs, right, at the various cities across the India. And out of that, 28 million children were affected due to the COVID-19. So in this scenario, many students didn't expect to return to the institutions which they left due to the closures, right? So due to the shutdown, due to the lockdown, whatever the loss that has happened, we cannot return it. But yes, many students have enrolled in an institution closest to home, but others will be unable to return to their studies, right? So those who are studying from the Anganwadi center, who was belonging to the poor family, they were not in a position to afford this much amount of prices by having a laptop, mobile phones, internet connections, and all this. So these students have a significant loss as far as the education system is concerned. But we had afforded because we can afford, and we are very much well versed about the ICT tools and training and techniques. Yes, and that's why the role of ICT tools in pandemics. So in pandemics, it is considered as a ray of hope in the pandemics, right? So it has considered to be something that holds the promise, right? So whenever nothing was, playing a significant role, at that time, ICT tool has played a significant role for the teaching learning process for the students and academician point of view, right? We were able to get the salary because of the ICT tools. Just think, if ICT tool was not available, the teaching learning process was entirely stopped. So I'm sorry to say, but we were on the bad position. But thanks to the ICT tools, that made us possible, and teacher and students have smooth teaching learning process even during the pandemic time period. And countries over the globes are using ICT tools for teaching learning process for facilitating information dissemination and communication in all the areas of teaching learning process. And that's why there are various benefits of teaching learning process. The first one is motivate students. Why ICT tool motivate students? Because ICT tool provides the educations to the students by sitting at their home, by just having a login or just by having their device. They can have the access of ample number of materials through the videos, live lectures that they can benefit in their flexible time period, right? So it motivates students to have a more and more learning as and when they required, and they can opt by sitting at the home. So it will save their time, cost, and energy as well, right? Second is it makes a session more attentive and interesting, right? Because whenever we are attending physical classes, we have several barriers in terms of visibility, audibility. But when it comes to the ICT tool, we have our PC, we have our laptop, we have our mobile devices, and we can have the proper attention towards the PPT presentation. And at the same time, the visibility and audibility is also properly managed. Re-energize teachers motivation, right? So it re-energize teachers motivation because ICT tool has provided so many access for the various websites, right? Various applications which provide ample number of education information, right? Various tools for research, everything is provided through the ICT tool. So yes, it motivates to the teachers as well, and yes, it also saves the time of teachers also. Then learn new skills and techniques. Yes, if you don't know anything, you have your PC, you have your laptop, you can easily Google it out, and you can have the knowledge if anything you are not understanding out of the presentation or out of your learning process, right? So within a fraction of second, yes, the students can have the access of multiple knowledge at the same point of time. Then it helps the students to understand the concept clearly. Yes, as I said, proper visibility is there, proper audibility is there, and even if they are not understanding, they can easily Google it out through the Google dictionary, and they can have the clarity of the concept. Yes, so the integration of ICTs in teaching in general and the teacher education in particular is the need of the day, right? So ICT is now getting the need of the day, and the use of ICT can make a substantial change for both teaching and training, mainly in two ways. First, the rich presentation of information changes the learner perception and understanding of the context, right? So nowadays we are making this FDP online. So you are there and your PCs or laptops are there, so you can easily focus it out by sitting at the alone place, and you can have a more focus, more concentrations for the things which is going on, right? And secondly, the vast distribution and easy access to the information can change the relationship between teachers and taught, right? But yes, it has created a challenge for the teacher as well, right? That you cannot bluff anything out of your presentation when you are on the ICT tool based teaching learning process, because students have the easy access of all the information, all the tools or the search engines, right? So if they feel, they will easily search it out and they will easily counter questions to you, right? So at that time, whenever whatever things that you are teaching on the ICT tool, you must ensure that the things that you are teaching is up to the mark, because students are very smart nowadays. They can easily Google it out and they'll have the counter questions, right? And that's why, and this is possible through the ICT, right? Because it motivates students to have a more and more gaining knowledge, more and more understanding. And that's why ICT can also provide powerful support for all educational innovations, right? So education innovation is also possible over here. Okay, then there are few comments on ICT tools during pandemics. So this is a comment that has been received from the government of UK. That is, ICT is used as a tool for whole school improvement during this critical time. We all know that UK was the first country before India which was badly affected through the COVID, right? And there was so many death in the UK. So at that time, UK government has announced that entire education system is shifted to the ICT based. right? And countries experiencing complete lockdown at that point of time. So yes, ICT made it possible for the teaching learning process for the teachers and students. I think before pandemics, we were not aware about the many tools for the online meetings, right? Google Meet, Zoom, and all these things. Before that, I think before March 2020, we were not aware about that, right? But now it is a significant part of our life, right? So a hugely powerful medium of transforming teaching and learning and make it unstoppable, right? So these tools are hugely transforming and medium of exchange of information between the students and teacher, and this process is now unstoppable. Nobody can stop this process now. It is an integral part of the teaching learning process in the academics. And that is why about the Mayo Demonstration School of Science and Technology USA had made a comment. What is critical about the success of Mayo is not the use of technology, but the expectation of children and educators to work collaboratively in this pandemic. As I said that the expectation of the children and educators, right, that works collaboratively in this pandemic situation, because yes, they are highly educated, they are highly concentrated, they are highly eager to know each of the things, and if they are not understanding, they can easily Google it out. They have the understandability, and the counter questions may come during the ICT tools. But yes, it is a healthy discussion that we must encourage this kind of practices. And about the Apple Classroom for of Tomorrow project, so broader implications of schooling become apparent, and meaningful use of technology in schools we realize during this difficult time, and goes for beyond just dropping the technology into the classroom. So I remember even in our in Gujarat also, there I don't think so before March 2020 there was much usage of the ICT tools into the classroom. But after March 2020, after the post COVID-19 situation, now ICT has become integral part. Even if we are running physical classes, there are few things that we are running online also, right? Because it is more it is more easy, attractive, and effective tools to make the teaching learning process possible, right? So by the time our sites are reporting new kinds of outcome for students, we had witnessed what amounted to a transformation of their learning culture, right? So now the learning culture has been changed. Even during the COVID pandemic, many universities or almost all the universities in India have taken the examinations of the students through the online, right? So for example, teachers instructional belief and practices underwent an evaluation, and we believed the improvement in students competencies to be a result of teachers personal appreciation of the technology. So yes, whatever things we are talking about, whatever the benefit that we are talking about in terms of ICT tool, but until and unless we are the delivers, we teachers are the delivers. So until and unless the acceptance will not come from the teacher's point of view, the delivery of the usage of ICT tools and techniques to the students will not get suffice or will not get proper justification. So yes, the first portion of the having ICT tool based learning process, that the acceptability from the teachers is very much important in nowadays. Though why we need ICT? So we all know that now the physical classroom has gone, right? The big PCs and big things are gone. Now we have very handy, healthy tools, information tools, right? Technological tools that we have so that we can easily use of this particular tool, and it saves the time and efforts for the teachers as well as from the students point of view as well, right? And during this teaching process, input and output time is reduced, right? So input and output time is reduced. Let's suppose if we are conducting classes in physical classroom, so students have to come from their places to the college, they have to wait for the lectures, faculties will come, faculties will open the PowerPoint presentation, PPTs, it will take some time, so it consumes a lot of time. But when we comes to the ICT tools, just now we have given the time to have FDP on 2:30, so sharp at 2:30 we have started, right? So this is what the benefit of ICT tools, right? So we can save the time, we can save the effort, we can save the money, right? So if this FDP is at at the Coimbatore, so I have to come from Gujarat to Coimbatore. You people are from different areas of the India, right? So you people have to come from the different areas to the Coimbatore. But this is ICT tools which made it possible that from the Gujarat I am delivering my lectures to the Coimbatore, and my lectures has been listened by the various reputed professors from across the India, right? So this has made it possible through the ICT tools. And when the process time is increased, so time of students activity, discussion, correlation with the other subject, brainstorming and learning, etc. will also increase, right? So when we save the time, when we save the efforts, right? So it has a positive impact on the mindset of the students and as well as teachers, which will ultimately results into heavy discussions on the topics, correlating the topics that they are learning with the things that we are already knowing, right? So the connecting to the subjects, connecting to the knowledge, connecting to the concept is more possible. That is why correlation is possible. Brainstorming, what, why, when and how, right? So this brainstorming is possible by sitting at the convenient places and have the access of the knowledge through the ICT tools. Okay, so yes, ICT tools is blessing in disguise from students perspective and from teachers perspective. So it's a mixed model of textbook and technology in this pandemic, which is best suitable for the technological friendly and modernized new generation. We all know that the students are more techno friendly nowadays, and they like to have usage of more technology and to have the efficient work by having a less amount of efforts, and that is what we need to respect also. So we being a faculty, we also need to adopt these technological changes. And evolved as a platform for new learning, it's a seed of creativity, right? It's a seed of creativity, right? So it has evolved a new platform of learning. Even if you don't want to go at your if you want to learn your degree by sitting at home, it is possible, right? So yes, it is possible through the seed of activity. Then ICT tools gives access to the students to do any course, right? Now government has come out with the new education policy, that is NAP 2020, right? Under which government has allowed the access to the students to enroll for multiple courses at single point of time. So how it is possible? Through the ICT tools, right? You can have one course in regular mode, one course in external mode. So at one single point of time, you can have the access of multiple courses. So in the area which you are interested, you can go for it, opt for the courses and gain more and more knowledge that is required from your end, that you can take it. And most important aspect for the ICT tool is it is a cost friendly. It's just required initial fundings or initial costing to have the laptop and your earphone, right? Rest will be the benefits and benefit, right? So it required a few amount of initial cost, otherwise it is completely cost friendly irrespective of their financial conditions, right? So even if you don't have a laptop, you can have the mobile phone of 10,000 rupees. You can have the easy access of all the materials, all the YouTube videos, online sessions, online access of applications, and uh, you know, uh, you can say the sky is a limit for the knowledge gaining process through the ICT tools. And from teachers' perspective, ICT tools are empowering them and helping them even in the time of epidemic to connect with fellow teachers virtually and to continue their teaching, to reduce the loss of education to children and improve the things further, right? So yes, we all are connecting us right now through the ICT tools only, and it is possible through the ICT tools only. And that's why it bridges the gap between to have the variety of content in different language and those who do not have it, right? So even if you want the things or concept or material in your own language, you can easily convert this particular material into your own language, or you might have the access of this material from the various websites that you are preferring. Okay, so ICT tool have the power to make teachers to reach an unlimited number of students, which is very important. In classroom there is a limitations, right? At single point of time you can have the access of 60 or a maximum 75 students in your physical classroom, but through the ICT tools you can have your lecture access to 200 500 students, depend upon the restrictions of the applications of ICT tools that you are using. So yes, so more number of students can have the benefit of your lecture, of your knowledge through the use of ICT tools, right? So this is what the benefit from the teacher's perspective. So it will reduce your efforts and it will provide more concrete content, more concrete delivery of your lectures as and when it is required. So there are few modern tools of ICT in teaching learning process that we will see. Yes, the first things is, yes, so this is a MOOC courses that we are talking about, right? That one tool that I have talked about is Swayam. Then Swayam is approved by the Ministry of Higher Education. So you have the multiple courses of MOOC courses. You have a short-term training program. You have the orientation program on Swayam. You have a refresher courses on Swayam, right? So this is all are approved by the Ministry of Higher Education, right? And we all know that we all are facing the promotional issues through the CAS scheme, Career Advancement Scheme. So under the Career Advancement Scheme, you have the requirement of the MOOC courses and all this. So you can have the easy access and it's a free of cost, right? So we must take the benefits of all these courses and make our profile more strong for the coming time period. And yes, they are also delivering various lectures for the research, to your subject area. So you can have the access of multiple courses at single point of time. Your, your abilities matter. Courses are unlimited. Again, if you want to go for international courses, so Coursera is one of the most important platform through which you can have the access of the courses through the Coursera. They are having a few amount of payment, like one course is having 2,000, 3,000 rupees. So if you want to go for international courses through the various university like Harvard University, Yale University, Oxford University, right? So this courses, this university courses are provided through the Coursera. Then yes, Harvard University itself has their own platform with the MOOC courses, so you can have the access of them also. Byju's, we all know that, but it is quite costly as compared to the other platforms. Then IIM Bangalore offering the various short-term training program, MOOC courses, so you can have this particular access as well. Then you have Google courses also. You can have the access of the courses through the Google also. Google is also providing the certified MOOC courses. So you can go and have the registration at the Google so that you have the accessibility of all the certified courses through the Google, right? Then IIT Madras also have it. IIM Ahmedabad is also having this courses. So if you are interested, you can go for it and opt for this particular courses. Even IIM Ahmedabad is running 6-month, I think, diploma program under which they are teaching all the things in a very practical aspect. So you can have the registration for this particular course as well. Fine. So this is the online courses platform for students and faculties, right? So this is basically for the various kinds of courses that you can opt through the MOOC courses, short-term training program, orientation program, refresher course, and so on. Fine. Then these are the various application tools through which you can have your classes online. That is, Zoom is one of them, Classin, GoToMeeting, Google Meet that we are using right now, Microsoft Team, Big Blue Button, Schoolology, right? So these are the various tools through which you can connect multiple students at single point of time, and you can deliver your lecture very efficiently to them, right? And it has no barriers of the location, right? The student from the different across the nation, diverse places can connect easily with us and have the knowledge sharing activity between the students and teachers, right? So this is the role of ICT tools in teaching learning process in higher education in India, right? So these are the online classes teaching tools. Then in pandemics also, there was one of the challenge for the faculties as well. We have already taken the classes, but what about the examination? Because pandemic was 2 years time period. So how to produce the results, how to take exams, right? That was also the challenge, because exam should not happen at the risk of the life of the people, right? So Government has a strict restrictions to do not have a physical classes and physical exams. So we had used various online tools to connect with the students in terms of the examination also, right? So we will have the looks of this one of the examination tools live also. So Google Form is one of them. Then Think Exam is one of the online portal through which you can connect the students for the examination. Flexi Quiz is also one of the tool. Testmos.com is most important tool, most efficient tools, to conduct the exams online. And then you have a ProProf quiz maker, right? So here also you can take the exams for the students as well, right? Okay. And Google Test is also one of them, right? Through the Google Drive that you can take. Fine. So other common tools. So apart from this, if you don't want to go live session, so you can have your recorded sessions and you can post your recorded session on your YouTube channel, right? So YouTube videos was one of the aspect for the students, for the learning process and for the teacher, right? For a teaching process. So content learning materials like from various sources. Learning also started by government by using ICT tools on Doordarshan. If you remember, government has started, school classes for maths and English on Doordarshan, right, in the pandemic time period. So through the radio programs also, as and when it is possible to have a teaching learning process, all the initiative has been taken by the government from the, citizen of the countries, teachers, and it is also accepted positively by the students as well. So creation of various online learning platforms for the students like Diksha, Let's Learn English. So these are the various online platforms that has been created in India for the students and teachers for a teaching learning process. Okay. So by considering this, the role of ICT, what would be the future role of teacher? You being a teacher, what will be your role in the future? You cannot act like a monotonous teachers that you were before the pandemics now, right? Everyone has changed themselves. The changes has been taken for everyone's life after the pandemics, that the education system has start experiencing the benefits of ICT tools and techniques for the teaching learning process. So teacher sees their role evolving around character building and teaching morals and ethics to the students who are spending time in front of a computer, right? So whenever the students are sitting in front of a computer, so teachers must understand their role of teaching fruitful things, right things to the students, because they are the the future builders of the students, character builders of the students. So the tech generation who is graduating now will acquire powerful decision making position in approximately 7 years. So yes, the process has already been started. So after few years down the line, we will start experiencing the changes in the coming generation, right? So coming generation will be completely technological based. So we should not act monotonously to have a physical classroom. We have restrict our knowledge to the bookist only, but we also need to shift to the online platforms, right, where multiple courses, multiple things are available apart from the things which we are knowing, right? So that is what we need to upgrade ourselves. So mortar facility, teachers who are expert in certain fields can also offer specific disciplines over the internet to numerous students in various countries, right? So teachers who are experienced, who are experts in certain area, like some of the teacher is experienced, or some of the teacher is very much experienced or expert in the research aspect, right? So they can conduct their session online and they can deliver the session fruitfully across the any part of the world, right? Even if I need to conduct the lectures to the USA, so I can easily connect through the Google Meet or all the platforms that we have. So it is very much easy nowadays to have a teaching learning process. So there is no boundaries, right? Previously, if you want to study from Canada or something, so we need to go to the Canada, but now we don't need to go for Canada, because we can connect to the Canada through the online classes as well, right? So if it is possible, yes, we can have that much amount of facilities available through the role of ICT tools and techniques in the teaching learning process of higher education. So yes, the future roadmap for India to enhance ICT infrastructure. Yes, so if India wants to go for teaching learning process through the ICT tools in a more concrete way in a future, so these are the things that India must need to ensure. One is the network connectivity issues, right, in the rural and scarce area, right? So everywhere the network connectivity should be there, so each and every students across the different part of the nation will connect to us and have experienced the more advanced knowledge and more advanced educations for their future. So Indian telecom sectors needs to add additional mobile towers and implement the right of way policy announced in 2016 immediately to provide quality services, right? So all the mobile companies needs to ensure that their mobile towers are sufficiently available to have the internet connectivity. Then BharatNet project must be completed on high priority before 2022 so that the highly scalable network infrastructure can be accessible, which is a broadband connectivity plan for household as a part of mission of Digital India, right? So right now, our Prime Minister has already initiated this mission Digital India in the month of July at Gujarat, Gandhinagar, right? So this was the mission that Digital India should be there. So yes, we are almost there to complete this particular mission, and the inauguration is already done by the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Bhai Modi. So learning centric students friendly tablet, right? So government should provide or school should provide the tablets to the students for the connectivity of the classes and have the accessibility of the material. So Ministry of Telecom, especially TRI, should come forward and work on providing students friendly data pack, right? So apart from the consumer pack, the TRI should force the mobile network companies to provide student friendly pack, right? Just like we have the special criteria for the students in all the aspects, just like if you are going to take the loan in the bank, so student loan should have a different criteria. The same way the student plan should also come out with the cheaper rate so that more and more students, poor students, can take the benefit of it and have the education, right? So India also needs to focus on developing ICT friendly content which can be easily available on phone and accessible without internet connection. Then making our government schools as ICT resourceful schools should be in priority. Yes, very much important. Government schools are in very bad situation even in physical classrooms. So yes, we need to revolutionize this particular aspect so that the poor child, poor students should afford this education system, and they will also make them compare with the private school students, right? It should not like they are not getting education at any level, so there is a gap between the quality of education between the private school and government school. So both the schools are should be at par, so both the students are getting the benefit of the quality education, and that should be possible if the government school should be properly revolutionized with the ICT resources, right? Yes. So what have you experienced in your own work with regards to the use of ICT? That is one of the questions to these faculties. And if you have noted changes in your own philosophy of practices, please describe them, right? So yes, you all have answered by yourself only what you have experienced with the use of ICT tools during the pandemic, and even still we are using those ICT tools at a certain level. So this is what the presentation that I have. Now I will show you few ICT tools on a live mode, right? There are few ICT tools that I want to show you. Uh, anyone is aware about Vidwan ID? Anyone? Anyone is available with Vidwan ID? Anyone? Okay, there are few questions that has been raised. So yes, Dr. K. Rajathi, Raja Lakshmi, would you like to ask something? Okay.
We'll be having an interaction session at the last.
Okay, fine. Okay, so I will show you the Vidwan ID, right? So I don't know whether you have it or not. So with one InflibNet ID, right? So this is a research scholar ID. So we being an academician, we always needs to ensure to have, the accessibility of our research paper for, so this is called Vidwan InflibNet ID, which is directly connected with the Shodh Ganga, from where we are getting the thesis published, right, of the research scholar across the nation, right? So this is connected with this, right? It is managed by the Ministry of Higher Education. Clear? You can see that expert database and National Researchers Network, right? So this is one of the important ICT tools through which you can connect with the various researchers across the nation. So here you can develop your website. You register with one InflibNet ID, and then you need to fill up all the details of your own achievements over there, right? So people can have easily accessibility of your ID to know what you are, right? To have the more connectivity for the future fruitful discussion, right? So yes, so this is one of the ID. You can see over here there is a score with one score. It's a 7.1, right? Here it shows that articles published in journal, article published through conferences, then awards, right? So this is this part is called the bifurcation, or you can say the summary of your profile, right? Then you can see the publications of this, right? So my publications with various co-authors, right? So this is a matrix that with one InflibNet ID will provide, and it is directly connected with the two IDs. You can see on the left hand side, this is Google Scholar ID, right? This is Google Scholar ID, and again it is a Orcid ID, right? So Orcid ID, I will again explain what is it. Then your expertise, so you can have the description of your expertise in 5 to 6 lines over here also, right? Then you have your personal information over here, the place in which you are, your date of birth, gender, right? Your office address, link, websites and everything. Then you can put your experience over here as well. Then you can put your qualification over here, right? So this is a qualification that you can show it over here, right? So people can know about your qualification, the area in which you are experts, right? And then these are the honors and awards that you have received, right? Year wise, this is a bifurcation which is given to us. Then if you have a professional membership with various NGOs or various training institutes or also, so that also you can show it over here with the year wise, right? Then if you have a patent publication, so I have a one patent publication. So as you can see that it is already described over here. So people will have easily access of my patent publication. They need not to demand from me. They can easily access from this website also, and they can have the idea about what exactly it is. Okay. Is it visible? The screen is visible properly? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now these are the publications. So you can see that publications, the total publication is 20. They are showing over here, right? So I have added 20 publications over here. So publication, article, journal name, in which discipline the publication is, with volume, year of publication, everything will be ready-made available, right? So you can have the access of this. And after filling all the details, if somebody is asking your profile, right? So you can easily download your profile over here, right? So you can see that the poster, then you can download through the Proforma also, right? So these are the downloading things that you can do it through the online, right? So आपकी profile, you will get your profile ready-made available, right? Clear? It with one InflibNet ID. If you want to create your with one InflibNet ID, so you can go it over here. With one InflibNet registration, If you go into it, and if you go into the registration of Vidwan, so they will ask you through which you want to connect, right? Either through Google, through LinkedIn, or you want to go for manually, right? So if you go into this, if you do register, so you will be registered and you will get your ID password over here through your email ID. So once you received your email ID and password, right? Sorry, user ID and password. So you have to register again. You have to log in again, right? And then you need to fill up all the details, just like I have filled up this detail over here. And this is my Vidwan ID. Can you see that on the top of the side, 204677, and my you know URL are also created with this ID only. This is my Vidwan ID, 204677. So if somebody will type this only 204677, so they will easily get my profile on them, right? If they know my Vidwan ID, they can easily search my profile. So anyone who is knowing my Vidwan ID, so they don't need to search me with my name. They will just search with this number. So they will get my Vidwan ID. So this is my Vidwan score. Can you see that? The green one, 7.1 out of 10. And the bifurcation of this score is over here. You can see that. Personal details 1 point, experience, expertise detail 1 point, experience detail 1, qualification 1, employee ID 0.2, Orcid ID 0.2, ISI ID 0.2, Scopus 0.2, Google Scholar 0.2, honors means award if you have received 0.3, right? 0.5, project with less than 5 lakh rupees 0.5, right? So these are the scores. So if you fill the details from each of the sections over here, the score will be counted and it will be reflected over here. So if somebody wants to decide about your profile, how much efficient you have worked towards the teaching learning process in research also, so they can easily get the idea about by receiving the scores over here. Is it clear? Everyone? Okay. Now, the second thing that we are going to see is the Orcid ID. The Orcid ID is one of the most important aspect if you want to publish your paper into the Scopus ABDC journal, right? So this Orcid ID, this is my Orcid ID. Can you see this number? 16-digit number. This 16-digit number. 0000 5024 1086. This is my Orcid ID, right? So if anybody knows this my Orcid ID, they can easily access my Scopus ABDC paper, which are already indexed through the Orcid ID, right? There are few papers are already going to be indexed with the Google Scholar. There are few with the Orcid ID, right? So this is Orcid ID that I will enter. So this is my Orcid ID registration that I have it. Again, this is for the research aspect, right? If you want to have more your index scoring, so you can create this kind of ID. Or if you want to go for publish your paper into Web of Science journal, Scopus journal, or ABDC journal, so this kind of ID is required to have the connectivity of your papers on a single platform, right? So this is a profile that I have generated over here, right, with my experience. Then they have asked my education qualification over here, from my post graduation to graduation to PhD, right? Then position and distinctions means I have shown my expert resource person. So these are the details I have it. Then membership detail, if you have it, then you can post over here. Then this is one of my paper over here. As you can see that stock prices, effect of behavioral biases on investors mindset in Gujarat state, right? So this is a DOI. So if I click over here, the people will easily get the access of my paper, right? So it will easily divert them to the website of the journal, right? And with my name. So you can see that there are two authors over here, me and my co-author. So we both have a Orcid ID. So this is registered with the Orcid ID. And if the person needs the access of the paper, so this is a PDF available over here. So if they will click on it, they will easily get the papers readily available, right? So this is a paper, which is ABDC Index Journal, Category B Journal, right? So this is a paper, and the scholar should have the access of the entire paper, right? Whatever works that has been done. So basically in paper, we are interested with the methodology and the tools and techniques of analysis that we have used. So here in this paper, I have used the factor analysis and confirmatory factor analysis with the model building, right? So these are the papers through which you can have the access of it. Fine. Okay. So this is Orcid ID, that also you can use it as a part of ICT tool to enhance your API score, to to enhance your H index, I index, in terms of the having more and more amount of citations from the research scholar, right? Then one of the tools that I had experienced during the pandemic is to use the Tesmos.com. Tesmos.com is a examination site, right? If you want to conduct any examination, right? So this is the Tesmos.com, which is very helpful if you have a paid registration. So it will have a more, more of user friendly, but still we are trying over here as a free demo. So here you can see that you just need to post a test name, right? So if you post the test name ICT, and here you need to give the password to protect your test. So I'm giving the password over here 123, and here 123, and here it is option called create a test. So you can click on it, so the test will be open. So this is a dashboard that you can see that on the left hand side there are various steps that you need to complete to publish your test to the students. So you first need to go into the setting, and here you need to write the text is displayed at the top of the test. Matlab, whenever students will start appearing the test, the common instruction or guidelines that you want to tell to the students, that you need to write over here. So basically we have the guidelines by all the questions are compulsory to answer, right? All the questions are compulsory to answer. Okay. Then this is a theme that you want to use: blue theme, red theme, and green theme. So let's go with the blue theme, right? Then here they are asking, show all the test questions on one page or show one item per page. मतलब आपको हर एक क्वेश्चन को एक ही पेज पे दिखाना है या एक पेज पे एक ही क्वेश्चन को दिखाना है? तो as of now I am picking show all the question on one page. Then other setting is not much important. Then here you need to write conclusion text. The text is displayed after the test is submitted. Matlab, whenever they are submitting test, what message should we provide? So we should write thank you for your response. Thank you for your response. So people will come to know that yes, my response has been successfully submitted. Then those show a custom message if student is passed or failed, right? Matlab, what message that student will get if they will pass, and what message that student will get if they will fail. So first we need to decide the passing criteria. So let's suppose we are deciding 50%. So if the student passes, the text is displayed. So if student is passes, the text displayed is congratulations, right? So we will display congratulations, means they have successfully cleared, right? So we have written congratulations. And if they will failed, so we can write better luck next time. Better luck next time, right? So this is the message that we are passing whenever they are fail or pass, right? Then at the end of the test, display the users with the score test outline, right? So everything we are going to display. And here they are asking who can test your test, who can take your test. So here the option by default is anyone, but if you want to protect your test, so here you can select the option anyone who enters the passcode of my choosing set of passcode. So here you can set the password for the students to appear for the test. So here if I'm making for the student password 4, 5, and 6, right? So this is a password for the students that I have made it over here. And here you can have the things that student needs to enter. Means you are going to examine the students by what? Either through their SPID either through their roll number, either through their exam seat number, either through their name. So things that you want to write over here, you can write. So here you can write, enter your roll number, yeah, exam seat number, right? So this message will be displayed to the students whenever they will start doing the test. And here you can see that the various other options, right? So I put on save, right? Then here you have the multiple options for picking up the test. So if you have a ready-made file, so you can upload the file over here. But if you want to go for MCQ questions, if you click over here, so it will describe the MCQ questions. And once you will set all the questions, you need to save it. You need to save it. And if you go into publish, so publish will be there, right? So let's take an example. I'm sharing one link, right? So you all are requested to appear that test, right? So that we will see the analysis part of the student scoring, how you can analyze the student scoring. I'm sharing on the chat box. Yes, the link is already posted, so you can have it. I can see the results over here. There is 100 participants, so I need the scores over here. So I can see the score over here. You have to enter your name so that I will show you the things which is happening over here. So do it fast. Is there any password they're asking? I think no password will be asked. Please submit your test so that we will show you the things what we have done. Okay, so see that we have the results over here. Can you see that? Right, so we have the results. So if we want to see the results of this particular person, right? So or this particular person, right? So if you go into this, so you being an administrator, you can see the results over here, right? And see the explanation over here. The explanation of the answer is already posted, so even students can have the access of the explanation of the answer, why this answer is right, right? So correct option, correct, whether the answer is correct, so it is displayed as correct, and the correct option is already tick mark over here, right? So this is one of the important aspect. And if you want to print out this particular things as a mark sheet, so you can have the printout of the entire student mark sheet without having any word file or something, right? You can easily have the printout of this particular things, right? So this is one of the aspect. Another aspect is you can see the by putting the cursor over here, you can see the right answer, right? और इवन इफ यू हैव अ रॉन्ग आंसर, तो आपने कौन सा रॉन्ग आंसर क्लिक किया था वो आपको डिस्प्ले करेगा. सी दैट, राइट? Understood. So the answer that you have picked up will be shown over here, right? And the answer which is correct, you can see it from the other students as well. And you can see the matrix, the total number of students that have appeared for this test. So for question number 1, the overall results of this particular batch is 58%. For question number 2, 79, and for question number 3, it is 88%. Clear? An individual student wise score if you want. So first one is 100, second is 100, third is 33, 100. So whenever you have clear the exam, you have, the results will be displayed on the screen. Yes or no? Congratulations. So it seems that you have cleared, and you have also received your scores also with the correct answers, right? And here it is a histograms for all the questions that we have asked, right? So you can easily download all the results from here. If you want to see the export, right, so यहाँ से आप लोग response grid को सीधा download कर सकते हो. You can see this. The Excel file is already downloaded, and if I'll open this Excel file, so I have the data of all the students, right? Even the time they have taken for the test. कितने time में इन्होंने test complete किया है, that has been also received, and what was the answer that they have selected is also received over here. So the justification is also there why it is wrong and why it is right, right? So this is the ready-made mark sheet, answer sheet that we have prepared. Clear? Everyone? So yes,
Sir,
and
yes.
fine. So that's it from my side. If any questions are there, so it is most welcome. And thank you so much for having a patient listening to me.
The session is open for discussion now. You can unmute and interact with the resource person, or you can post your questions in the chat box also. Sir is there to help you. Thank you all. Thank you very much, sir.
सर गुड आफ्टरनून.
Good afternoon.
सर मैं डॉक्टर विभा जैन हूँ. मैं एक पूछना चाहती हूँ कि अगर हिंदी में आर्टिकल हिंदी लैंग्वेज में देखना हो तो वो कहाँ से? मैं बहुत दिनों से सर्च कर रही हूँ, दो आई एम ए कॉमर्स कैंडिडेट, बट आई ट्राई टू राइट द आर्टिकल इन हिंदी लैंग्वेज, but for review of existing literature and all those things, I'm not getting any article on my subject. My subject is the stress management in the working women.
Okay.
So though it is a commerce thing, it's a management thing, but in Hindi language I'm not getting anything. So one question is, can I see the English language articles and can translate that, and then that I can write down in review of existing literature, or can I get some studies in Hindi, written in Hindi on this particular subject?
Okay. See, there are two aspects for this particular question. One is the things, the topic that you have, तो आपके articles आपको जो भी है वो आप, your subject is very common, so many research has been happened on this particular topic. So one aspect is you can get it article from Google Scholar, ResearchNet, right? You can have a JSTORs, right? So these are the open libraries. There are certain paid versions of the library, right? So from that you can get it. Or else, if you need the ready-made article into the Hindi, right, you need to identify those universities, right, from which the candidates are obtaining their PhD degrees, in the commerce on the topic that you are doing it. Like if it is commerce, PhD is available in Hindi language. So, and if this particular colleges have the access of the paid software for downloading the research paper, so you need to visit those libraries and you need to search your articles and get it downloaded from there. Otherwise, in open access, it is very difficult to get the Hindi articles, because Googles are mainly adopting the English language, right? And we are following in English language. So if you need to go for Hindi, you need to go for the paid articles through which you can get the materials.
So, but I had tried it once. I had written all my articles in English only, but I thought कि इस बार try करते हैं हिंदी में, and I'm facing so much problem. I'm not getting even a single research study on this topic.
Very clear है madam, because देखो, because you are in commerce, so commerce is basically falling into the social science, right? So social science in India, all the colleges and universities are delivering their educations through the English language, right? All the researches are happening into the English language. Even whenever we are doing the research, the citations that we need to give in this APA format, right? And that APA format is also available through the English language, through Google Scholar or any other website, Biblifnet, right? So there are various software which is available for us, right? But Hindi language में specifically ready-made आपको नहीं मिलेगा. आपको कोई भी यूनिवर्सिटी, स्टेट यूनिवर्सिटी या सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी जहां पर भी उनका रिसर्च के अंदर आर्टिकल का एक्सेस है, वहां पर आपको जाना पड़ेगा। जैसे कि IIM अहमदाबाद में, गुजरात में IIM अहमदाबाद के अंदर अगर आपको रिसर्च पेपर जो आपको चाहिए वो नहीं मिल रहे हो ओपन एक्सेस थ्रू, तो आप IIM अहमदाबाद के अंदर 300-400 रुपए में एक आपको 7 दिन की मेंबरशिप मिलती है। तो यहाँ IIM अहमदाबाद आप आइए और यहाँ से ले आप आर्टिकल को एक्सेस करके जितने आर्टिकल्स आपको दिन में डाउनलोड करने हैं 6 घंटे के अंदर, तो आप करके चाहिए।
अच्छा, तो सर हाउ टू गेट दिस मेंबरशिप?
आप IIM अहमदाबाद वेबसाइट पे जाइए, वहां पर उनके ऑनलाइन लाइब्रेरी का, विक्रम साराभाई लाइब्रेरी है उनकी, उनको कांटेक्ट करिए मेल थ्रू या फोन करके, तो दे विल डेफिनेटली आंसर। और अगर वो लोग बोल रहे हैं कि आपकी फोटोज या डिटेल्स भेजो, तो आप डिटेल्स भेज दीजिए। विद इन 7 days और 10 days दे विल मेक योर स्टूडेंट ID। सो अगर आपका स्टूडेंट ID मिल जाता है तो दे हैव सम वैलिडिटी फॉर द टाइम पीरियड कि भाई आप 7 दिन के लिए आप यहाँ पर आ सकते हो। तो उस 7 दिन के अंदर आपको यहाँ आके आप अपने आर्टिकल एक्सेस कर लीजिए, यू विल डेफिनेटली गेट इट।
मतलब मुझे IIM अहमदाबाद जाना पड़ेगा?
हाँ, अब आप आर्टिकल कैसे, देखो IIM अहमदाबाद एक आपको ऑप्शन दिया है। यू आर फ्रॉम विच सिटी?
आई एम फ्रॉम दिल्ली, दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी प्रोफेसर।
दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी। सो दिल्ली से जो भी नजदीक पड़ रहा हो, राइट, कोई भी IIMs, इट इज नॉट अवेलेबल ओनली इन IIM अहमदाबाद, इट इज अवेलेबल इन ऑल द IIMs,
ओके।
राइट। सो अगर वहां से आपको कोई भी नजदीक पड़ रहा है या अच्छी बी स्कूल्स हो जहां से आप एक्सेस कर सकते हो, जैसे कि अच्छी बी स्कूल्स के अंदर सिम्बायोसिस के पास भी ये एक्सेस है, नरसी मुंजी के पास भी है ये एक्सेस, राइट। दिल्ली के साइड आप देखो कि दिल्ली साइड पे दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी के पास भी होगा, जहां पर दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी की सेंट्रल लाइब्रेरी होगी वहां पर आप जाइए और वहां से सेंट्रल लाइब्रेरियन से बात कीजिए, तो दे विल डेफिनेटली प्रोवाइड यू द एक्सेस।
सर बट मेरे को ये समझ नहीं आ रहा, ओके आई गो देयर एंड फाइंड आउट कि ये हिंदी के आर्टिकल जे स्टोर पे मैंने देखा कहीं नहीं है, एक भी हिंदी में नहीं लिखा हुआ आर्टिकल। तो मुझे मतलब मेरे को आई एम रियली कंफ्यूज कि किस चीज पे जाऊं जहां हिंदी के आर्टिकल मिल जाएं।
नहीं
That-
मिलेंगे, ओपन एक्सेस पे नहीं मिलेंगे आपको, क्योंकि सोशल साइंस के अंदर सारे रिसर्च या सारी डिग्रीज जो होती है वो हिंदी मीडियम में नहीं होती है। आर्ट्स के अंदर लैंग्वेजेस आती है, तो आर्ट्स के अंदर आपको सारी चीजें मिल सकती है इन वर्नाक्युलर लैंग्वेजेस, राइट, बट इन सोशल साइंस एंड स्पेशली इन कॉमर्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट।
अच्छा सर, कैन इट बी पॉसिबल कि मैं इंग्लिश के आर्टिकल को अपने आप जब रिव्यू लिखूं तो अपने आप उसको हिंदी में ट्रांसलेट करके वो?
कर सकते हैं, डेफिनेटली यू कैन डू इट।
ओके, तो जो ऊपर का मतलब टर्म्स ऐसी होती हैं जिनका हिंदी नहीं आता, तो क्या मैं उनको इंग्लिश में टर्म लिख सकती हूँ?
हाँ, मतलब सी इट इज अ यूनानिमस डिसीजन, राइट, कि अगर देयर आर सर्टेन टर्मिनोलॉजीज जिसका हिंदी में कोई ट्रांसलेशन नहीं है, तो दिस इज कॉमन फॉर हिंदी, इंग्लिश, और आई एम गुजराती, सो गुजराती के अंदर भी वो कॉमन होगा, राइट। सो वी विल कंसिडर दैट टर्मिनोलॉजी एज इट इज इन आवर लैंग्वेज, तो
अच्छा,
उसका कोई इशू नहीं है।
ओके सर, द लास्ट क्वेश्चन, जो बिब्लियोग्राफी लिखूंगी वो इंग्लिश में ही लिख दें?
हाँ, bibliography you need to put it in English, because the sources from which you have taken this particular help is through the paper only. So if somebody wants to check where the sources that you have taken the help, so person can have the copy paste of the link and can have the access of the article, and they will decide, yes, you are right on the literature review. So yes, you need to provide in English only
ओके,
if
थैंक
you
यू
have taken English article, huh?
सर। अब तो ऐसा लग रहा है शायद ये डिसीजन गलत था। आई थॉट कि हिंदी में मिलता नहीं है तो लेट मी राइट डाउन, बट
No, हिंदी में मिलता है, but the in the field which you are, social science and especially in commerce, कॉमर्स के अंदर लैंग्वेज के ऊपर उतना ज्यादा इम्पोज नहीं किया जाता है, कंसेप्ट के ऊपर ज्यादा होता है, बिकॉज वी आर कंसेप्चुअली क्लैरिफाइड, बिकॉज वी आर फाइटिंग विद द मार्केट, अकाउंटेंसी एंड मार्केटिंग, राइट। सो लैंग्वेज के अंदर उतना नहीं आता है,
क्योंकि हिंदी में जो आर्टिकल लिख रहे हैं उसमें बस ये लिख रहा है कि स्ट्रेस को कैसे कम करना चाहिए, कोई ऐसे टाइप मिल रहा है,
क्वालिटी आर्टिकल्स नहीं मिलेंगे आपको,
कुछ नहीं मिल रहा, एक
नहीं।
आर्टिकल रिसर्च स्टडी नहीं मिल रहा, बस एक ऐसे टाइप अपने व्यूज मिल रहे हैं लोगों के पास।
यस,
एक भी नहीं मिली अभी तक तो मुझे।
काफी सारे आर्टिकल्स तो आपको वो टाइपराइटर के ऊपर टाइप किए हुए मिलेंगे।
हाँ, बिल्कुल वैसे ही मिल रहे हैं सर, बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं आप।
yes, I know that.
I have taken a wrong decision.
But you can try to convert your language, medium of language, if it is possible.
Should I start writing in English now? Should I convert?
you can have the word with your university, and if it is possible, you can easily convert.
Sir, but मैंने questionnaire वगैरह सारा हिंदी में बनाया है.
It hardly matters of 1 or 2 days to convert into English. So it is always better to have the the availability of the sources and information rather than to stock up into the information and sources by just
That-
having barriers of language.
That means I have to again float my questionnaire to get the responses.
No issue. No need to float it. Well, the
Fine.
things in questions and options that you have taken, you
Yeah.
just need to convert into English, right? Otherwise, coding, decoding will be the common for all the options.
Okay.
The purpose of taking the objective of your research, right? The objective that you have taken for your research is not going to change, whether it is in Hindi or English. It's just
Fine.
options that you are converting.
Fine. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
You
Any other questions?
you can share your questionnaire if you're facing any issue. So I can guide you accordingly. No problem for that. Yes. Any other questions?
Any other questions? You can post your questions.
Can you give me your phone number if you won't mind?
Now we will be sharing, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
We'll be
Thank you,
sharing
ma'am.
the details.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. So I think no questions. So I hope this session is very useful to all of you, and I have justified the contents and the theme of the National FDP program. I would like to thank the organizer of the National Faculty Development Program on teaching learning process in through ICT in higher education. So thank you so much to Institute of Technology, the manager, the head of the academy, right? So thank you so much, and thank you so much to the participants, without which this FDP is not possible. So once again, thank you so much. Yes, Viva madam, if you have any question.
Sir, can I ask you one more?
Yes, go ahead.
Sir, how to find out that which is a Cologne journal and which is a real journal? Today only I came to know that my article has been published, but that was not a real journal. And पता नहीं मुझे तो like I had sent it with all the precautions and everything. तो
See,
उससे मुझे
clone
certificate भी आ गया.
clone journal and authentic journal, right?
Yeah.
Whenever you are making published your article through any journal, make sure to demand the indexing of your paper,
Okay.
right? If this journal is not providing indexing, there is a high chances of having a clone journals, because
what-
those journals
what is
who are
indexing?
linked. See, indexing is like, I'll show you.
Yeah.
Right. Google Scholar, right? Let's suppose if my article has been published, so it should be available on Google Scholar, right?
Okay.
So Google Scholar. So this is my profile on Google Scholar.
Okay.
Is it visible, na?
No, sir.
No, fine. Just a minute. I'll share it.
Yeah, now it is.
So this is see, Google Scholar. Whenever you will type Google Scholar, so there is an option to over here on the left top corner. So there is a my profile option. So if you click on this, I have developed my profile over here. So here you can see there's H index, I index through the Google Scholar. So total 7 citations that I have received from my paper, right? So this is a paper that I have it, right? So
Okay.
this is the paper, right? So if I click on this, right? So see this. It is easily diverted to the website.
Hmm.
So this is authentic journal, right? This is indexing journal. So whenever people will take my references, it will add it to my APA score,
Okay.
right? So if, and even if you can check it like this, and if you I have copy paste this title, and again I will go to Google Scholar, right? So whenever your paper get published, take your title and open the Google Scholar search engine and just paste over here. And you see this, my name,
Yes.
it is indexed. So this is not an clone journal because my paper has been indexed. My article has been cited. See the citation over here also. The one person who is from, I think he's an international author who has cited my paper for his research.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Shall we wind up, sir?
Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
if there is no other question, so we can wind up. I think Jaya madam has one question. I think she has raised the question.
Jaya ma'am, do you have any question, ma'am? Jaya
Okay.
ma'am, you can post a question in the chat box also, ma'am. I'll read it to sir. Do you have any question, ma'am?
Fine. So we can end the session if there is no question, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. On behalf of IoT Academy, we thank Dr. Krunal Soni, sir, for the enlightening and enriching session. We thank you once again for the amazing presentation, sir. And we thank you
Thank
very much for enhancing your knowledge related to ICT tools and with your commendable presentation. The session was really amazing, sir. Thank you very much for your efforts, sir.
Thank
I thank
you.
all the participants for joining the session today. Kindly
Thank
fill
you.
the feedback
Thank you.
form using the link that has been posted in the chat box. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, madam. Yeah.